Hello, everyone. My name is David Dombrosky. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at InstantEncore, and we're excited to be with you for TCG this year. Today, I want to talk with you about InsideGuide, but I want to start with a question. What single action can theaters take to reduce environmental impact, cut costs, generate revenue, and save staff time? I'll give you a second to think about it. Got it? Let me tell you. The answer is shifting from print to digital program books. And we have a tool called InsideGuide to make that easy for everyone. So InsideGuide is an easy to use platform for creating and delivering beautiful digital program books. It takes the traditional elements of a printed program and then adds in the ability for you to put in digital specific content that could never be used in print. And it does all of this in an interactive mobile first format. So let's start by talking about reducing environmental impact. The first client for InsideGuide was Mirvish Productions. They are Canada's top producing theater company with 4 Broadway style houses in the Toronto area. In their first year of using InsideGuide, they dropped from 1.8 million to 1.1 million printed programs. That's a reduction of 700,000 programs, which reduced their impact by 39%. It also saved 672 trees. So, do you have any sense of what the environmental impact for your printed programs is? Most people don't. They don't really think about it in that way. But let's start with just trees. How many trees do your printed programs use? So scan the QR code or go to the URL here, qrco.de/ how many trees. You'll have 3 quick questions to fill out, and then it will tell you the answer. How many trees were used to create those programs? How much carbon dioxide they would have filtered from the environment, how much oxygen they would have released into the environment. It just helps to give you a better sense of where you're starting from in terms of the environmental impact of your programs, and then you can track the reduction in that over time. So reducing environmental impact, very important to everybody. Another driver for a lot of our clients is the need to cut printing and shipping costs. We have clients whose costs have tripled over the last few years and have become unsustainable from that perspective. And so we do a survey of our clients every year, and 39% of InsideGuide clients eliminated all printing costs by going entirely digital. That means 61% of our clients are taking what we call a hybrid approach. They're offering both a digital program as well as some form of printed program. And for those clients who are taking that hybrid approach, they saw an average cost elimination of 53% for their printing costs for their programs. That's still providing a printed program option, but they were able to cut the expenses in half by going digital. And it's also part of a process, right? Not every theater is at a point where they can just all of a sudden pop, you know, and go entirely digital. Their patrons need to be, gradually guided toward that direction over time. But you have to start somewhere and you have to start at some point in time. And this is a great time to do it. People are a lot more willing to try digital solutions now. And this is just so important. If you're experiencing those same printing and shipping costs that our clients are experiencing, this is going to help a great deal. At the same time that we're cutting printing and shipping costs, we also can generate ad revenue. And I think digital ads, particularly for print for programs, are a much smarter idea than print. And I'll tell you why. So if you think about a printed program and an ad in it, it's a very passive thing, right? I have the program, I see this ad, and then I'm gonna, put the program under my seat, maybe take it out again at intermission. I see that ad. Okay, great. Got those impressions going. But what happens when I get home? How many of you have gone to look for an old program book so you could find an ad? I have a lot of program books that I keep in binders. I have never gone into a program book to look for an ad. So the idea that people are going to take the ad, go home, and then act upon that ad later may work from the idea of an impression standpoint, but most advertisers today want a more direct relationship with those potential clients. And you can give that to them through a digital program because that ad can be tracked. They can add a link to it that goes to a particular place on their site where they can have an interaction with that patron. And then they can actually change the nature of the ad so that they can have, a real clear call to action with some impetus for acting on it now rather than acting on it later. It just changes the nature of the ad entirely. You can also upsell ads because you can give people the ability to submit ads that are an animated image or a video. And adding a little bit of motion to the app can really draw the eye and make a big difference. And like I said, you can track it. You can look in Google Analytics and you can see how many people viewed that ad. You can even see how many people clicked out onto the ad. And they can also track it on their end. They can have a referral link for their ad, and they can go into Google Analytics and see how many people came from that particular ad. It just gives a lot more options than print advertising does. 68% of our clients included external ads from organizations in their digital programs, and 84% of them charge the same amount or more for digital ads as they would for print ads. So the idea that print is somehow better than digital is not really playing out that way. Saving staff time. Let's talk about that. So staff time when it comes to a printed program, one, you're putting all the content together, but one of the challenges is you have to do it early because you have to get it to the printer and you have to be able to look at the blue lines and you have to be able to make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be, and then it gets printed, and by that time things have changed. So let's talk about another part of staff time related to printed programs, and that's layout. Every time you do a new program for print, you have to do a new layout. So that whole process is going on every time you're creating a program. With InsideGuide, you don't do that. One of the things that we noticed about programs in general is that a lot of organizations include a great deal of what we call evergreen content. It's content that you want to include with every program. Donor lists are a great example of that. But another example could be staff listings, board of directors listings. It could be ads for, a gala at the end of the season. There's so many possibilities of what could be determined to be evergreen content for the organization. But the best thing about InsideGuide in regards to that is you can use your past program and copy that as the base for the next program. You can tweak your evergreen content. You can add in new event specific content. And then when you use that program for the base of the next program, you'll have the most up-to-date information all the time. But it cuts out on the need to do layout for all that evergreen content. And it also means you don't have to enter all of that content in every time. You can also copy pages and copy specific content blocks from previous programs and add them in. The control panel is super easy to use. And you don't have to go through that whole process of creating those inserts and everything else for those Last minute changes. That's right. Another great thing about digital programs is you do have the ability to change them up until the very last moment. And that's just something you can't do with print, as we all know. And it's also something that folks in our field are doing a lot. So 98% of Inside Guide clients made last minute changes to programs that would have required a reprint or inserts. And when we asked them how frequently that was happening, that was the surprising thing for me. I mean, 23% are doing that more than 10 times in a season. That's a lot. And I just want to say, one of the best things about digital programs is no more inserts ever. You don't have to print them. You don't have to find staff or volunteers to go out of their way to sit and stuff them into programs. You don't have to clean all of those pieces of paper up off the floor afterward and go recycle that on top of everything else. No more inserts. We just make updates in real time. And that works a lot better. And then a lot of organizations just want to provide a more interactive experience that falls in line with how people use their devices in everyday life. So let's look at an example of a digital program. So let me stop and shift to another screen. And here we go. So the screen that we're looking at now, this is the digital program for Grand Rapids Civic Theater's Disney's Descendants, the musical. I love how they have these great and colorful images all throughout their program. As we go and look at some interior pages, you'll see that. And that's a thing they can't do in print. They can't do all color and they can't add all of these images. And it really helps to give a grander scale to the piece, to the play, the performance. We, as the readers of that digital program, are really getting a sense of the world building that's happening here with the theater. Let's take a look at the content. Oh, one thing I want to point out, at the top here, you can see we have a branded logo in the center. This is a navigation bar. And let's say we go down to look at the note from the director. You'll notice that now we have some navigation icons that have popped up here at the top. We have the back arrow that takes us to the immediate past page. We have the home icon, which enables us to go back to the home page at any point. So let's go back to the previous page here. So we have the welcome messages. They also have messages from their presenting sponsors. They give them, an area to put in a letter, but they also provide an ad here. And they have two sponsors they have listed before they get into a section called Our Show. And this is something that Grand Rapids has been doing since 2001. They bring the majority of the content about the production into their Our Show vertical list here that we see. And each of those goes out to an interior content page. So if we go into the About area, that's where we're going to see the credits. And you can see that you can do them in any particular format style that you need to. You can see the cast listing here, and they keep their cast bios in a separate area, which we'll see in a few moments. Here we've got production staff, production crew listing, shop volunteers, front of house volunteers, time and place with a synopsis. We have song and scene list. We have our content and effects warning. I love how they tell the rating here and the runtime. And they let us know it's performed without intermission. That's great. They have a special thanks area. And then after that is where we see the cast profiles here. And you can see they're listed in a horizontal structure. One of the things that Grand Rapids Civic Theater does that is so smart is they do shots of everyone in the same background. And the uniformity is great. It's a great way to approach it. And of course, as I go into one of the casts and we go into their bio here, they have great full color image of the performer. We have their pronouns here. We have the character name, of course, the information about the performer, and then you have the ability to add in handles. The other thing they could do if they didn't want to just have the handles, they could actually have it say, Instagram or TikTok and have it be a button that you could follow Mickey on those platforms just by tapping the button. So concessions and lobby is next. Let's take a look at what they're doing there. So they're providing information that's important for folks, logistical information about the restrooms, about where things are located, like concessions. And then they give a concessions menu right in the app, which I think is really smart. And you'll see some other items on those pages as well. It says here, visit the concession stand lower lobby for limited show related offerings like buttons and custom cotton candy. That's fun. They tell them to tag them in their photos. Again, tell them what you want them to do. It's a very smart way to approach it. And some additional advertising here, some for a sponsor up here, but also they're also promoting their own content, the next event, their restaurant that's attached. And then they have information about the house managers with images so you know exactly who you're talking to. You can see how they've announced their 24-25 Flex Pass, and they can link to that content on their website. We have information about the production staff. We have additional information about the restaurant. And then we have all of this, what I call evergreen content coming up, which this entire Our Civic menu here is definitely evergreen content that they want to include in every program. And InsideGuide makes it easy for them to do that. You can see more evergreen content here, our policies, our supporters, and of course, everybody is list their donors differently, and you can decide how you want yours to be listed. They do a thanks to our supporters here with a clear call to donate. And then they have additional information here at the bottom. All right. So how do audiences access the digital programs? You can provide a link that goes to all of your published programs so that people can see what programs you have that are available for current productions as well as upcoming productions. And you can have an archive of past productions as well. The published programs link is great for long-term communication or permanent signage. So for example, say you want to do a 20-foot banner that you want to hang up in the lobby area so that someone can scan a QR code from 30 feet away and access the program. Well, when I want that QR code to be connected to something that I can use over and over and over again, and whenever they scan it, it's going to take them to the most current information. And that definitely is what I would use that for. Also, maybe I want to have an icon on my website that links to all of my published programs as well and gives people on desktop the ability to go in and look at past programs. You can do that. You can, of course, give an individual link for a specific program as well. And that's great for event specific communication. So if you want to have a QR code on a poster for the production and people can scan it and take them to the playbill or the digital program for that specific work. It's also great for know before you go emails. A lot of clients see a great pickup in digital program usage on the days when they send out the know before you go emails. And of course, as we just saw, it works on desktop and laptop as well. What we do is we limit it to a width of 600 pixels, so none of your pictures pixelate, and we center it on the screen. We also add in some navigation sliders for folks who are using desktop navigation instead of touch navigation. Now, how do digital programs help with accessibility? That's a really great question, especially as our patrons age, which I'm doing, so I get it. Um, you can do things like resize the text using the browser's tools. It also works great with screen readers. Everywhere that you would upload an image in InsideGuide, there's an alt field so you can put a description, and that way the screen reader will read the description instead of just the file name for the image. And a couple of other things that you can see here that Plan B does is Plan B Theater, they provide what they call large print or accessible scripts as a PDF that can be downloaded from the digital program. They also provide a link to an audio version of the program, which I think is fantastic. Another area of accessibility is multiple languages, the ability to provide access to folks who speak in different tongues. And what I love about InsideGuide is you can provide your program in multiple languages without doing a thing. What do I mean by that? So in this example from Plan B, we went from English to Spanish and then to Japanese. And all I did was change in the browser which language I wanted it to translate the web page into. So how easy is it to manage? Let's take a look at the control panel. So if we look over here, I'm going to go out a second, just one step further. So I really want to thank Grand Rapids Civic Theater for allowing us to show you this information. So here we're on the programs page. When you log into InsideGuide, you'll pop onto the programs page first. It's showing you a listing of all your programs, and you can see that you can filter them. So right now we have it on past. If I put it into future, then we can see what they have available here. So you see how they create an advertisement sample playbill, which I think is really smart. They show their advertisers what the image sizes look like. They tell them about the ability to add an animation, all of those things. So they actually use the tool to then display it all to the advertisers. So smart. All right, so they've given us permission to take a look at descendants. So let's go into past and find the descendants right here. So we can see there is the program header image. There's a thumbnail of that over here. We've got the descendants, the name of the program. We have the dates, and these are the dates when it is going to appear on the current tab in the published programs page. So this is when you're going in. It's not going to necessarily be just the run of the show. You might want it to be a few days in advance or even a week in advance. You may want to have on the current tab for a couple of days after the run of the production is over. We have a venue field here. So, for example, if your theater has a black box and a main stage and maybe an outdoor space, you may want to designate which venue that these productions appeared in. We have the number of pages and the season. We also have the status column, which shows if it's published or in draft format, and you can change that with a simple toggle. We have copy, so you can copy this program and use it as the base for the next one. Of course, you can delete a program. Up here, if I want to see the published programs page, I can go up here and click on publish programs, and they're still working on the future program, so it's not listed, but all of their past programs are here. So I can go in and go right into that Descendants program. So I want to take a look real quick over here on the left before we dive into a specific program. So the design area over here, this is where you would put in the information for the title bar. Of course, you can add an image. You're not seeing it here because it's white text with a transparent background. And that's why we won't see it here, but you'll see it when we take a look again at the deeper program. Down here, we have design variables. Currently, these are being applied globally, but that's going to change soon. So you can see we provide you with a default value, and of course you can come over here and use the edit icon and enter in your own values. So you can make those changes and just kind of experiment and see how your branding colors work and how you want to utilize them within the digital program itself. Now, I said this is going to change, so we'll talk about that shortly, about what's going to happen here. The settings area, so you can create a Google Analytics property ID that is just for your digital programs. And that way you can track where people are going in your programs, which content gets the most traffic, what areas of the program don't receive any traffic, and do you still really need to provide that information? It just gives you data, and data gives you tools to make decisions. All right, so let's go dive into that Descendants program here. We're on the info page. We can see that this is published. If I don't want it to appear anymore, I can simply turn off the published, but I'm not going to do that because they do want it to appear. As we scroll down, you can see this is the start date and the end date for when it appears on the published program's current tab. The time zone, we've got the name of the program, the venue area, the season, and you can see that you can leave internal notes. So you can leave notes for anyone who's working with you on the program. If you have folks who say you have an intern who's working on your program, you can go in here and leave notes for them, or they can leave notes for you as well. And then over on the right, you'll notice that this preview stays locked here. So it'll always be here on the right-hand side as we go from page to page to make changes. You'll be able to see those happen in real time. So if I want to see what this looks like, I can open it in a new tab. And I can also see that there's a link right here. This is the link to the individual program. Now, you can use that before it's published, and that's a really smart way of going about and getting your approval for the various items. And then over here on the pages area, you can see, I know I didn't. Over here on the pages area, you can see this is the home page here, and we're seeing that on the right-hand side. It's highlighted. And then we've got all of the pages that are linking out from the program page. And then any other pages that also have additional pages linking out from them. So you can see they're in this nested tree structure. But you simply select the page that you want to edit. So I go to that page. And now we can see the name for the page here. We've got the header information here. We also have all of the content blocks that are on this page. You can see there are different types that you can utilize. If you're working with a list, you can see it tells you the number of items that are in that list, and you can actually go in and edit those specific items. If I want to change how something appears, so for example, if I want to change how this is listed on the home page, I can click edit and that will change how it appears here. But if I just want to edit the content that's connected to that, I can simply go to that page. And that'll take me over here, and you can see it follows me over with the preview on the right-hand side. All right, so that's a quick look at the control panel. As I mentioned, there are some things coming this summer. One of those is the ability to generate print-ready PDFs. Also create and assign design profiles so that you can have different profiles for your children's theater program versus your main stage program. Of course, you can also adjust your program style with custom CSS. So those things are happening this summer. We're really excited about that. So if you'd like to learn more about anything that you've seen in today's presentation, as well as our affordable pricing for nonprofit theaters and our flexible payment options, as well as our special conference offer for TCG 2024, please contact me at david@instantencore.com or at the phone number listed below. Save time, save money, save trees with InsideGuide from InstantEncore.